Are we live right now?
Yep.
Hello. Get in here.
All right. Checking connections here real quick.
Yep. Make sure we have no technical difficulties.
Yeah. We are still fetching data on YouTube, but we're live on Instagram. What's up? What's up, everyone?
Hello.
Yeah. Coaching the Don here.
Yes. The coach and the Don are both here.
Yeah, both present.
And accounted for.
Yeah, okay. Well, once this connects, we will be ready to go get going.
Stupid technology.
Yeah. I know. Come on, YouTube. Get with it.
Mm-mm-mm.
Get with it. Which I'm going to fix this anyway. There we go. I like that better.
Fix it up. Fix it up real nice, Ryan.
Yeah, what's going on here?
That boy. Oh, I'm on this
There we
page.
go.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm on this page.
And now we're good. So,
Cool.
well, Coach, say hi to everyone. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. What is up?
There's too many cameras. I don't know where to look.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know.
a lot going on.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
A lot going on here at the 51-yard line studios. But welcome. Thanks for joining us on a Monday night. It's an awesome weekend. But if you've never joined us before, this is the Coach and the Don. So we're going to jump right in. This week on the Coach and the Don, we are going to be covering our top 10 teams of the NFL through 3 weeks. Then we get an exclusive interview with defensive back star Cameron Bynum from the University of California. We then break down our top 5 tailgating items, food or games, doesn't matter. And then we go into the Hollywood side of things, break down a movie script and what NFL players would play those roles. Finally, ending the show with our biggest matchups for week 4.
Boom.
Well, those of you that don't know, that is the Cal band song.
It is. It is the Cal fight song.
Fight song, there you go. Band song, that's stupid. Fight song. The
I know-
old fight song.
I know what you meant. They know what
Okay.
you meant.
Appreciate it.
It's cool.
Well, I know you were very excited that you wanted to share a little story before we got into our
Yeah.
top 10 teams.
Yeah. So sometimes there's a saying that I use, dude, chili. And there's a story behind that. Not necessarily my story, so I'm going to steal it, but it has to do with my brother and one of his best friends. So my brother was an all-state linebacker in high school. He was a sophomore when he achieved that accolade, and he had a best friend who was an offensive defensive lineman for the same school.
Mm-hmm.
They both moved away prior to their senior years, okay?
Okay.
And their team had won state their sophomore year, were runners-up their junior year, and they won state again their senior year. Unfortunately, my brother and his friend were not a part of that senior team that won state.
Of course.
Of course, they would have been starters. They were, my brother was an all-stater and stuff. But anyway, so they were seniors in high school. They both lived in Kansas City, and where they had gone to school prior was a really small school. 8-man football, actually, in Northwest Missouri.
8-man.
8-man.
Okay, I've heard of 9-man. I didn't know there was an 8-man.
Yeah, of course there's an 8-man.
Love it. My dad played 9-man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I know it's really prevalent like the Dakotas, right?
Yeah, Minnesota was where my dad
Minnesota.
played. So.
There you go. But anyway, so they were going to their senior year. They're going to the state semifinal game. They're going to go watch their friends and stuff and root them on. Well, they went. The high school where they had gone, Mound City, was playing Miami High School. So they went to Miami, Missouri. Well, Miami High School is not located in Miami, Missouri, little to their knowledge.
Okay.
Miami High School, I don't remember what city it's in, but that's just the name of the high school, Miami High School. So they go to Miami, Missouri, which is this podunk, middle of nowhere town, which is like 4 hours in the opposite of direction where they needed to go, right?
I had no idea there was a Miami, Missouri.
Nobody.
Because there's a Miami, Ohio, obviously the Miami, Florida.
Of course, yeah.
I didn't know there was that many Miamis. Continue.
Yeah, sure. So they show up to this Miami, Missouri, like just dead town. Like nothing's going on. They figured they'd roll in like there'd be, banners. It's a big deal. State semifinals, right?
It's a drinking town with a football problem.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they show up. They go to this location where there's like a ton of people. So we'll go here and we'll find out what's going on.
Yeah.
So they show up and there's a ton of people, and they say, "Hey, we're here for the football game. Where's the stadium?" And the town says, "Well, we don't have a football stadium. You're in the wrong place." So my brother and his friend are like, they're super ticked, they're super let down. They're not going to make the game because they're way out of the way. Well, this guy from the local Miami says, "But we're having a chili cook-off." And my brother's friend, who's bigger than most, but he's one of the best guys I know.
Okay. It's Billy Bob.
I love you, Curtis.
Curtis,
but anyway,
sorry, I didn't mean any offense by that.
No, no, he would enjoy that. But anyway, so they're getting ready to leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're super mad. But Curtis looks at Tyler and he goes, "Dude, chili."
Yeah.
So
how many times do you go to Miami, Missouri, and go to a chili cook-off?
Exactly. So they stayed for the chili cook-off, had a great time, and ended up Mound City did win the game by a large amount. They went on to state and won it, and they did make the state championship. They didn't go to the wrong town for that.
Okay.
But anyway, that's where Dude Chili derives from. They go 4 hours out of the way, ended up going to this chili cook-off, wanted to see a football game. They didn't, and yeah.
And so they just called it Dude Chili, or that just became like a phrase, like a...
It just became like
Dude Chili.
Like, dude, chili. Like, we're not leaving.
Okay. Okay.
Like, dude, chili.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So did they ever find out where the actual game was played that they were supposed to be at?
They did. I don't remember the town.
Okay.
It's somewhere. They weren't there.
Gotcha. It was Dade, Missouri, not Miami.
Nice.
Like
Miami-Dade County. I see where you're going. I like it.
I'm just making sure you're keeping up.
Of course.
So love it. That's great. Dude Chili. That might be a new staple to the show.
Dude Chili.
Dude Chili.
Trademark.
With the Coach and the Don.
TM pending.
What brother was that?
My oldest.
There we go.
Tyler. Yep.
Okay, Tyler. Thank you for that. All right. Should we get into our top 10?
We shall.
It's 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
These top 10s mean absolutely nothing.
Let's go ahead and overreact, though.
But we're going to overreact, and we're going to break it down.
Yep.
Talon, I want you to give me your 10 through 5.
Okay.
And then I'll follow suit. Give me some reasons why. You know how it works.
Yes.
10 through 5.
Yeah, I feel like we've done this before.
We've done it a couple times, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So number 10, Bears. Number 9, Dolphins. Number 8, Falcons. Number 7, Redskins. 6, Saints.
Stop there. So
and I'm going to stop there.
10
yeah.
through 6 is what I meant to say. Yeah.
We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying even when you don't say it, so it's cool. But no, I went with the Bears at number 10. This was a hard list, honestly, because I feel like and I feel like you agree, but after the top 2, maybe 3 teams, it's like there's a lot of teams that are interchangeable. But the Bears, I really like their defense, especially since obviously Khalil Mack, the best defensive player in the league.
Oh, hold up. Go ahead.
No, come on.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I might have a bone to pick with you later, but we'll let it go.
That's fine. Yeah, Khalil Mack, Leonard Floyd, they have a fairly solid secondary for as young as they are. They got Roquan Smith, they got Danny Trevathan at linebacker. I think that defense is very solid, and I think the offense is underrated. Even though Mitchell Trubisky is not, he's probably going to end up not being worthy of the number 2 overall pick.
So it seems so far, yeah.
Yeah, they have a decent O-line. I love Kyle Long. I think he's one of the most underrated guards in the NFL. Underrated lineman overall. And Jordan Howard, great running back. They have a good crop of receivers, Anthony Miller, Allen Robinson. They have a good tight end, Trey Burton.
I love Anthony Miller.
Yeah, I do too.
There's a lot of promise. I liked him coming out of Memphis, and I think he's a great fit there.
Yeah, I'm very high on that Bears receiving core. So yeah, I think the Bears they might take the NFC North. The Vikings are obviously the biggest threat, but you never know, man. With that defense, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have them at number 10, and then I can go into 9 through 6 deeper. But yeah, Dolphins, Falcons, Redskins, Saints. That rounds up my 10 through 6.
Okay. We have a lot of similarities in there.
Okay.
10, I actually put the Packers.
Interesting.
I kept the Bears out. I know the Bears are leading the division currently, and at 2-1, while everyone else in the division is either 1-1-1 or under 500. But to me, it's more. I don't know. I hate saying the eye test. I know it gets old by people saying, but when you have Aaron Rodgers, when you have the history that the Packers have, as long as Aaron Rodgers at the helm, I have more confidence in him than I have in Trubisky and the Bears.
Sure.
So I think overall that Bears defense is much stronger than the Packers defense, although the Packers defense has made strides. But for me, it's a strictly Rodgers versus Trubisky. So I'm taking Rodgers, and I have the Bears at basically 10A,
Okay.
and I have the Packers at 10. Dolphins at 9.
Nice.
Same thing with you. I'm sure Dolphin fans probably feel disrespected having them at 9 when they're the only one of 3 teams that are still undefeated. But 3-0, it's hard to really judge a team just off being 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they have some solid wins. They have looked overall well. Ryan Tannehill, I believe, is 11-1 in his last 12 games, or maybe he's 10-1 in his last 11 games, something along those lines. So, I mean, he's been able to produce and win at a high level. Him and Adam Gase are really clicking. I don't want to say I'm just not fully buying them yet, but I need to see a little more.
Sure.
I need to see a little more from the Dolphins where I can move them into that 5 or 4 spot. So Dolphins at 9. I got the Falcons at 8. Did you have them at 8 as well?
I had Dolphins at 9, Falcons at 8,
Okay.
so we have the 9 and 8 same.
So I got Falcons at 8. Even though they're 1-2, that's a great team. They played Philly in Philly week 1. After Philly wins the Super Bowl, there's a huge crowd advantage, a huge high there coming off the Super Bowl. So
Yeah, I would have the Falcons higher if it wasn't for all their injuries.
yeah.
That's-
Well, and on defense, those are some big
Yeah.
injuries. Both
Yeah.
safeties.
Yeah,
Both
Neal
safeties.
and Allen.
Yeah, those are big injuries, and
Yep.
and so that might even be, when you look at that, 8 might even be too high. You might also want
Right.
to drop them out just because that talent level's dropping down on defense. But we'll keep it at 8 for now.
Yeah.
Love Matt Ryan, love that offense. Freeman's been out. He'll be back soon. I got the Panthers at 7. Did you have them at 7 too? I know, like I said, I know we had a lot of similarities.
No, I didn't even have the Panthers in there.
Okay, so I have Panthers at 7. I don't always love the Panthers. I know they're 2-1. I don't always buy into Cam Newton the whole time, but I think the way that they're running the offense this year, I like how they're doing things. Cam's, he's had, I think, 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns already. McCaffrey last week had 184 yards on the ground.
McCaffrey has been a stud this year.
Well, it's about freaking time.
Yeah.
Last year, I mean, I preached all the time on this, not just on the podcast, but to you, that they are just completely underutilizing him, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, McCaffrey, everyone talks about, he's too small to carry the load. The guy's
No, he's not.
5'11", 225.
He's a
not a
stud.
small running back.
No.
He's a big boy.
He's a 2018 running back.
Yeah, he can carry the rock.
Yep.
So they finally, when I was following on him on fantasy, because I have him on multiple teams, and seeing his stats and seeing him at like 18.5 points, and it was literally all the stats says 185 yards. Usually it's like 32 yards, but he has like 20 points because he has like 10 receptions.
Right,
Blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
So he, at that point, literally was just rushing yards. I was like, okay, it's about time they
Yeah.
use this guy in the running game. So
Yep.
just for that reason, I think the Panthers are finding their identity more back to their 2015 days when they
Yeah.
were really running the rock.
With Jay Stu.
Yeah, really doing it well. So we'll see if that can change, but that's where I have them right now. And then I have the Saints at 6.
I have Saints at 6 too.
Yeah, 2-1, huge win in Atlanta last week, going to overtime. Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, that was a game for the ages. That'll be one that we'll look back and be like honored that we were able to watch.
How good has that rivalry been the last 3 years?
Oh, fantastic.
Falcons Saints is probably the best rivalry in the NFL right now.
Oh, it's got to be. And it's not outside of the South. It's not talked about enough.
It's not.
I
it
was
really isn't.
2 years ago. I was at a Broncos Saints game in New Orleans. Which, if you've never been to New Orleans, go to New Orleans. One of the best cities in the entire United States. There's a lot of, hoopla that goes on there, but overall, people are great. It's a good party town. It's a lot of fun. But so just there. Let me compare it this way, and I love the AFC West. We're both AFC West fans.
Of course.
Broncos Raiders, and I can probably say the same for Chiefs Raiders, Broncos Chiefs, Chiefs Chargers, all around. But I'll
Yeah.
just because what I know best, Broncos Raiders. There is a hatred for the.
Because you actually win that one?
Well, and I've been to both Broncos at home and Raiders at home, so
I'm just kidding.
I haven't been to the Chiefs yet. So there is a true hatred that there's no respect that follows it. Like there's not a.
Oh, no.
There's not a. We hate the Raiders, but hey, let's play football. Who wins wins. We're gonna talk trash. We're gonna have fun. There's a. Oh, you're a Bronco fan. Oh, you're a Raider fan. Let me throw beers at you, or let me like down talk you, or trash talk you, or this. I don't love that. I love the AFC West. I love the rivalries, but that I don't love. With the NFC South, at least from what I saw, I'm sure there's stuff that happens, but from what I saw when I was in New Orleans, there is a pure football hatred rivalry, but the respect is still there, and they have, just genuine. Like you hear Southern hospitality, there's still that genuine feeling. I'm ranting. I'm going way off topic here, but I love that rivalry. All I'm trying to say is that's a great game, great rivalry, great matchup with Matt Ryan and Drew Brees. But I have New Orleans Saints 2-1, ranked 6th right now.
Nice. So the only different you had 10 different, and we had 7 different. I had Redskins at 7. I think they've been playing really, really well.
Yeah.
Alex Smith has been playing lights out. He's been doing the stuff that he didn't do in Kansas City enough. Taking the deep shots. He hit Paul Richardson against the Packers. One of the first plays of the game, he hit him deep for 60, 70 yards, I believe. Maybe I might be exaggerating. I'm not sure, but he hit him in the end zone. Jameson Crowder has been a great weapon for Smith. The run game with Adrian Peterson, who the ageless wonder.
2 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, their O-line is great with Sheriff and Williams. I forget the other 3 guys, but Jordan Reed is a great tight end. That offense has a lot of weapons, and the defense is playing well too. That all those draftees that have been, Jonathan Allen, and they got
Jonathan Allen's playing real well.
Yes, they got Deron Payne and
this year's draft,
the rookie. They're looking really well. Other than the Eagles, they look good in the NFC East.
Yeah.
And the way the Eagles have started out, I mean, Wentz is back now. We'll get into the Eagles a little bit later on in this list. But I really like what the Redskins have done, and I'm happy for Smith because as a Chiefs fan, I respect Alex Smith so much, and I love Alex Smith. His time was up in Kansas City, but I'm super, super stoked to see him succeed somewhere else.
Yeah. No, I honestly would have had them on my top 5 because their 2 wins to me are very significant and very well. It was that weird loss to Indy. Nothing against Indy and Andrew Luck, but they
that was weird.
They couldn't do anything on offense. It just seemed out of whack.
They were off,
and it could have just been one of those games. Every team has them. Minnesota had it this week, who we'll talk about. Broncos had it this week. Just one of those weeks. But
we'll talk about the Broncos.
Oh, well, you have them top 5? Is that what we're going to talk about them?
No, but I'd like to talk about the Broncos.
Okay, yeah, we can bring them up. No problem. I'd be happy to talk about them. Okay, yeah, but yeah, Redskins, I think I'd like to see them succeed. I mean, it's a good football town. No matter what you say about D.C., they do love their Redskins.
They do.
Or
it's
Washington team, whatever you want to call it.
It's a respectable organization.
Yeah.
It's one of there's a lot of history.
It's one of the staples, NFC East, any of those teams. So, okay, 5 through 1. I'll let you lead.
I had Vikings at 5, Eagles at 4, Jags at 3, Rams at 2, and then the Chiefs at 1.
Okay. We had all the 5 same teams. Mine were just a different order. I had Jags at 5.
Okay.
Vikings at 4. Put the Eagles at 3. Chiefs 2. Rams 1.
Sure.
So, I'll let you break down whatever you want.
Okay. Obviously, the Vikings at 5. If it wasn't for that game this past week, God knows what happened. I have no idea. We'll get into this later, but they have a matchup coming up with the Rams. I can't imagine an NFL team.
I'll be there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't imagine an NFL team overlooking somebody on their schedule. That just doesn't happen to me in the NFL.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how a professional team overlooks someone.
Yeah, but they did.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. That's all coaching right there.
I mean,
Dan Zimmer laid an egg there.
Unfathomable how that happens. But anyway, if it wasn't for that, Vikings would be maybe top 2. And they'll bounce back. I think they'll bounce back. It's a big week against the Rams, but the Vikings have a lot of weapons. They're probably the most complete team in the NFL right now. This loss, out of mind. They're very complete. They have a great defense, great offense. They just signed Dan Bailey, so their kicking should be improved unless, he didn't get a chance to kick last week because the offense just was terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vikings at 5, and then Eagles with Wentz back. Obviously, Carson Wentz makes the Eagles the best they can be. Nick Foles, ton of respect for him, Super Bowl MVP, but that's Carson Wentz's team, let's be honest. And then 3, 2, 1, we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, I'll let you talk about 5 and 4.
Yeah, Jags at 5. Weird game against Tennessee. Obviously, they came out looking really good in week 2.
9-6, was that the final?
I think the final was 9-6. Yeah,
ugly ass game.
Yeah, and I mean, it's division football, so
yeah.
Anything in the division is always gonna be a tough matchup. But it was, definitely put them after their big win against the Patriots. Kind of a lot of question marks there, but
yeah,
I still think the talent on defense is unbelievable.
Sure.
Just the names they have, offense. It's an NFL offense. I won't say they're elite. I won't say they're absolutely horrendous. They're they're middle of the road. They can get the job done. So Vikings at 4. You kind of hit on all the points. they're a much better team than 1-1-1. They're going to get figured. They should be, in reality, last week.
They should be 3-0.
They should be 3-0. Last week was unfathomable. They just didn't show up. But they should still at least be 2-1 if they had a kicker that could make a freaking 28-yard 30 field goal, whatever it was that he missed.
Yeah, I won't say should be. They're supposed to be 3.
They're supposed to be 3.
They're
absolutely.
supposed
Yeah,
to be
they're a Super Bowl contender.
They should not have, I mean, based on how they came out last week, they shouldn't have won. It's not like they missed a kick.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the Packers game. They got their asses kicked last week.
Oh, the Bills. Yeah. Give credit to the Bills. They won that game.
For sure.
Handle it.
Great game plan, great strategy.
Yeah.
Bills.
Sean McDermott
hats
did great.
off, man.
Defensive coordinator did great. The defense looked amazing. But 99 out of 100 games, Vikings are probably winning that game.
Exactly.
But that game, give the credit to the Bills. They
Any
deserve
given
it.
Sunday, man, unbelievable.
Yeah, that's why I love the NFL. Any team
I do
can
too,
beat any team.
right?
They're professional players,
Yeah,
professional athletes.
they are.
Anyone can beat anyone. 3-2-1. I'll let you start off with that.
Okay, I had Jags at 3. You touched on it. That offense, they know what their job is, and that team is all about the defense. Number 2, Rams. I have been very outspoken about my dismay for the Rams.
Dismay for McVay?
I love McVay. I just don't like the way that the front office has approached the roster. Even though they have all this talent, I don't like building a team through free agency. I think you build a team through the draft, and you build on that through free agency. And I feel like the Rams are doing that back, where they're trying to build through free agency. You just don't do that. That's not how good teams are built, in my opinion. But nonetheless, they're 3-0. They look very dominant. I'm trying to think if they've even had a sniff of a close game this year. I don't think they have. I think they've. Last week was the closest one. It wasn't even that close.
Yeah, Chargers hang around for a little bit. But
but you kind of felt the Rams were in control that entire game. The Rams look as advertised now. I mean, Aqib Talib is down for at least a month. Peters is out 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, you still got Sam Shields. You still got a very good defense, obviously.
Roby Coleman, so those will be their 2 corners.
Johnson's there. Joyne is there. Obviously Sue, Donald. Who's the other D-line over there? Brockers.
Yeah.
But Rams are good. They're probably, other than the Vikings, I said the Vikings are probably the most complete team. Rams are right there with them. I'm not a huge fan of the offense. Everything goes through Todd Gurley. If Todd Gurley goes down, they're in trouble. As good as Goff has looked, as good as
Goff's looked good, though.
He has
Gotta
looked
give
good.
him some credit.
But your offense doesn't go through Goff, in my opinion. Without Gurley, Goff is not half as decent as he is. So I have the Rams at 2 simply because I just think they're a ticking time bomb. At some point, they're going to implode, and I don't know when, but I do still think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I'll get to them. So I had Eagles 3, excuse me. Haven't really looked impressive by any means, but they're the reigning champs. Carson Wentz back in his first game after missing
a year.
Yeah, essentially a year, but he missed the last 5 games of last season plus playoffs.
Calendar year, but I see. You're right.
A little less than a calendar year. So first game back, he looked fine in his first game back too, and he's only gonna get better from here. So
So they're gonna knock that rust off.
They're gonna get together. They're gonna be fine. Their roster's solid, good coaching, and when you have Carson Wentz, once he's healthy, they're gonna be okay. Chiefs, I have it 2. An absolute offensive powerhouse so far. Patrick Mahomes has just looked better than advertised. The hype that it has surrounded him has absolutely been 100% so far. Doesn't look like he's a second-year player whatsoever. The weapons there are unheralded, but the defense definitely shaky. They've come up They've come up when they've needed to. When they've absolutely needed to stop, they've come up with it.
Yeah.
But that's why I have them 2, just because it's so lopsided from side to side, and that's why I have the Rams 1, who are stout on both offense and defense. I mean, they're averaging, I think, 30 points a game. There was 6 quarters there where they didn't allow a single point. Last week, I think they allowed 21, but the Chargers do have a good offense, and it is a home duel, battle for LA, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
Ended up being kind of a blowout, but it was close for a little bit there. The Rams offense, one stat I think that it's amazing that, we're 3 weeks in, but third down or 3 and out percentage. So that the amount of time or
Ridiculous.
the percentage that a team goes 3 and out. The Rams are 6%. The next closest at second is around like 28%.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's unbelievable.
Crazy. The way the team that moves the ball, the way McVay's calling plays. Like I said, Goff Yeah, it's Gurley's team. It's run through Gurley, but Goff has looked he's been hitting tight windows.
Yeah,
been making sound.
yeah.
Yeah, in yesterday's game, aside from that red zone TD or red zone interception, excuse me, which you can never have. But aside from that red zone interception, he's looked very good. They're a team on a mission, and yes, the thing for me with the Rams is injuries, and if they implode within, that's all that can stop them, I think.
Yeah, and
Injuries,
if they hire
which
Jeff Fisher again.
Which, yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But I don't think he's coming. I don't think they're letting him in, even in the state. Obviously these two injuries are big blows. So we'll see how they can rebound from that for these next couple weeks. And then as long as that locker room and stays cohesive and the captains do their job and McVay and the coaching staff keeps everyone good, like I don't think anyone can beat that team.
Nobody's unbeatable, but
of course,
I see what you're saying. I do know what you're saying.
I don't mean they're going to go undefeated. But
Sure.
I don't see how a team supplants them as number one or a team winning the Super Bowl. If you look at right now, and that's going to be a fun matchup in Mexico City, Chiefs and Rams.
That's going to be awesome.
And this is all on paper. We've seen 3 games.
Yeah.
But if you just look at matchups right now, if it goes into a quote unquote shootout, which is what the Chiefs want from what they've seen so far, from what they've shown so far, if it's a shootout, the Chiefs are going to win. But if it's a shootout, Rams defense is eventually going to come up with a bigger stop than the Chiefs defense are.
Sure. I see what you're saying. The defense for the Rams will definitely be more apt to make a stop than the Chiefs defense, but we talked about this earlier. If it comes down to a shootout, I personally, honestly, unbiasedly, do not think any team in the NFL can hang with the Chiefs in a shootout. I just don't think it can happen. I don't care how good your defense is. That Chiefs offense has so many weapons.
I guess here's the better question. With that Rams defense, do you think it could get to a shootout?
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't think
So week 7, I believe, is that matchup?
Yeah.
So by week 7, barring anything else that happens,
sure,
Rams defense will be healthy. Talib and Peters will be back, so they'll be full strength.
And I hope they are.
Yeah.
I hope there are no excuses
yeah.
that the Rams can make when the Chiefs roll into Mexico City
That's good. True
and
competitor.
put up 48 points.
Okay, so you think they can still do a shootout with that defense?
I think they can drop 50 points on any team in the NFL.
Okay. Well, they haven't dropped 50 yet.
They haven't had to.
Oh, they haven't.
They haven't had to. When you drop 35 points in the first half and you're up 35-10,
yeah,
you're gonna bog down. But
yeah.
look what I don't know. If they need to, they can.
Yeah.
So if they're in a shootout and they need to drop 50 points, Chiefs will do it. Reed will do it. Okay. Mahomes will do it.
Hey, I'm just trying. Right now, I'm trying to figure out what can we do to get to Mexico. Because I want to be there for that game.
Oh, my God. I want to be there so bad.
That matchup is going to be amazing.
I want to be
City,
there so
Azteca,
bad.
come on.
Come on. And no offense, I mean, I think I've been kind of open and honest about my, dislike for Marcus Peters.
Distaste.
But I'm really looking forward to Watkins and his. They really haven't faced in-game adversity. I think that'll happen against the Chiefs. I think they'll get frustrated. I think Talib and Peters and Joyner and Johnson, yeah, they're great. On paper, they're great. They've been great these first 3 weeks, but have they faced an offense like the Chiefs yet? Absolutely not. There is no offense like the Chiefs. I don't know if we've seen an offense like the Chiefs in recent memory. And yes, I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm from Kansas City. But I'm being completely unbiased when I say this Chiefs offense, I don't remember seeing an offense like this that is so just on point and on cue and so gelling so well together, and you never know who's going to come out. And this is why I have the number one. As bad as that defense is, and trust me, I know they're bad, but as good as that, or as bad as that defense is, that offense will carry that team as far as they can go. I can see them winning 15 games in a regular season based on that offense. Who do you stop? Who do you game plan for? If you stop Kelsey, they're just going to hit you deep with Hill. If you stop Hill, they're going to hit you in the middle with Kelsey. If you stop Kelsey and Hill somehow, they're going to hit Watkins on the short intermediate routes on the screens. If you stop those 3 receivers, guess what? They're going to run it up your ass with Hunt. If you somehow stop all 4 of those offenses or all 4 of those weapons, then you're playing with 15 guys on defense. You're not stopping all of those guys. And then when you somehow you stop Kelsey, you stop Hunt, you stop Hill, you stop Watkins, guess what? The backup tight end Harris will leak out somewhere and end up in the end zone. You got Demarcus Robinson. You got Chris Conley, who's a little banged up right now. You got Spencer Ware, who's a backup running back who will probably start for 10 NFL teams right now. That offense is so unbelievably talented, and the offensive line is so unbelievably underrated.
Mm-hmm.
This offense is record-breaking, and it's going to break a lot of records this year, and I'm super pumped for this Chiefs offense.
Timestamp it. Breaking a lot of records, like Broncos 2013 records, or
they're gonna shatter NFL records this year. Mahomes already has. He's broken Manning records. He's broken Brady records. He has 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in his 3 weeks into the season. Yes, at some point they're gonna slow down, but they will not be stopped. They just won't. There's too many weapons, and enjoy it while it can, because this stuff just doesn't happen in the NFL where you have this amount of talent on one team, because at some point you're going to have to pay everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with Mahomes on his rookie record, or rookie deal, do it now. And that's exactly what the Chiefs are doing, because once you have to pay Mahomes, then you're not going to be able to pay those other guys. So enjoy it while you can, Chiefs, because this is the time. Strike while the iron's hot, and it's smoldering right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is the year. All right. Is Chiefs Kingdom finally going to see a playoff victory?
Oh, well, we have a playoff victory. I'm ready for a Super Bowl, man. This is the first time, honestly, that I've legitimately felt like we have a Super Bowl contending team, and it's not just because of how good we are. It's kind of the rest of the field. I just don't see another team that can really hang with us.
Yeah. Well, the AFC, for sure. The AFC, there's really not. I mean, 3 weeks in, Patriots always turn around, but so far they look bad.
Yeah,
they could be 0-3 if they didn't play at home against Houston week 1.
Yeah.
Who is 0-3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the AFC West, obviously we saw the Chargers try to play them. They couldn't contend. Broncos are 2-1. We see them next week. I'm not super confident the Broncos will even compete in that game. So
now, there is one thing to keep mind of. This is the first time that an NFL team has faced Mahomes twice. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I
feel pretty confident.
No, I agree. As good as advertised. So I mean, I have Rams 1, Chiefs 2, and it's not mainly. It's just because of the Rams defense. I have them. And
I totally understand that. The Rams have all the merit in the world to be in that number 1 spot. I just think nobody can stop that Chiefs offense.
Yeah, but I mean, to your point, before we move on,
mm-hmm.
So that Rams offense, they've put up just as many points as the Chiefs have through 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at their weapons, Goff. If you want to take Goff or Mahomes,
mm-hmm.
at this point, we'll say a toss-up. If you look at stats, Mahomes, but experience, whatever.
Sure.
Gurley or Hunt, toss-up. Look at the receiving core. You have Cooper Kupp. You have Robert Woods. You have Brandon Cooks. Those are all 3 very viable receivers. Tight end, definitely you give the over to the Chiefs. You got Tyler Higbee or Gerald Everett over in
mm-hmm.
L.A. So, but I mean, if you look at those weapons, the Rams have just as many weapons. So how are you stopping that?
Well, let me ask you this: you have, forget logos, forget teams, forget all that. You have Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Chris Conley, Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks, Tyler Higbee, and
Cooper Kupp.
Who are you taking? Who do you want on your team?
I think it's a toss-up.
Come on. That's a toss-up?
I would say a toss-up.
I think you got 3 surefire Pro Bowlers on the Chiefs, and Cooks is a Pro Bowler.
Well, no. What do you mean? Okay, so who are the 3 surefire Pro Bowlers? You have
Hill, Watkins, Kelce.
And
those guys are surefire Pro Bowlers. You can argue that Cooks is a good receiver.
Yeah.
He's a Pro Bowler. Woods, borderline. Kupp.
Well, since he's been in L.A., Woods has been – before L.A., Woods was a nobody. Since he's been in L.A., he's been a Pro Bowler.
So you
can argue, 110 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns last week.
Well, you can argue he's a product of the scheme.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm just
You could argue Hill's the same way.
Come on.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying you can.
Okay. Yeah, I don't
Watkins was on the Rams last year, and he has – I mean, his production is basically the same from Rams. He's that –
Sure.
Going to get you a few catches for chunky yards.
Yeah. Now, I will give the nod to Gurley. I think he's the best running back in the league. I'll give the nod to Gurley over Hunt. But Hunt's not far off.
Yeah. No.
I don't know. That Chiefs – and I might be being a bit of a Mahomer right now, but I'm so bought into this Chiefs offense. Yeah. They're dangerous.
Yeah.
I think there's too many weapons for any defense in the league to really –
yeah, I mean, what pushes that Chiefs over, if you really have to pick one or the other, would be Kelce.
Oh, for sure.
Because the tight end position in LA is so much weaker
mm-hmm.
that Kelce would push them over the top. throwing Conley in there is you're just throwing him in there just to like have another name.
Well,
So there's
go
4 and
4
4.
and 4.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
exactly.
doing,
It's
yeah.
just for another name.
Yeah.
Because the other 3 Rams receivers are all better than Conley. But yeah, I think Kelsey kind of puts that over, but then Gurley kind of brings it back. It's Mexico City, baby.
That'll be a fun game.
That's
man.
gonna be a game.
It's gonna be a
It's
game.
gonna be a hell of a game.
It's gonna be a game.
If we can get there,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm in.
I got to get my passport, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Woo!
that would help. Yeah, probably need that first. So.
Don't build that wall yet.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you have it. Top 10 through 3 weeks.
Oh,
let
man.
Let us know if you hate it, love it.
Yeah. Let me know if I'm being too much of a homer. But frankly, I don't care. But let me know if I am. That way I just know.
So, cool.
All right.
For those of for the podcast for later, we'll be getting into the Cameron Bynum interview. So that will be fun. But for the live feed, we're gonna move on to our tailgating items. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Sounds good to me. So we're going to break down our top 5 items you want to bring to a tailgate. This could include food, activities, games, anything. There's no we did order them 5 through 1, but it doesn't necessarily have to be just food, just games. It's just when you go to a tailgate, what do you want to see there?
Sure.
So college, pros, I'll let you start.
No, you start. I started both these lists, so you go ahead.
Okay. This is kind of dependent on the tailgate I'm going to, and I guess this is more kind of looking back into my youth, if you will.
Okay.
College tailgate, you're having fun, you're pre-gaming for your team. Number 5, I got Jello shots / beer bong. Always
Okay.
a fan favorite at
Yeah.
the tailgate,
Of course.
Gets the people going when you're running around. You maybe have a tray of Jello shots. All right, gets the crowd going. Or you got a beer bong. Just a good time. So tailgate's all about a good time. Yeah, you're kind of prepping for the game, but in reality, you're there just to drink and have a good time. And yeah, Jello shots and beer bong. That's my
Okay, I can respect that. Now, I'll be honest. I didn't have any sort of alcohol-related item on my list at all. Not to say that I am against drinking.
Okay, yeah, you're against the libations.
But I don't know. I guess I just didn't go there because it's just such a staple that it's like, why wouldn't you go there with that?
Okay.
I don't know. But anyway.
Maybe I was being too obvious, but
No. My number 5 was I put Bose, but any portable speaker to be blaring the tunes while you're tailgating, while you're cooking, while you're playing the games, while you're hanging out with your friends. You got the Pandora going, you got your iTunes going. Everybody's pumping, everybody's out there vibing. You got to have that speaker. You got to have something to get the vibe going, to get the atmosphere, and that's one of the first things I'm throwing in the bag is that Bose portable speaker.
the old Bose, yeah. Shout out to Bose.
Yes, sir.
I like that. So my number 4, I'm sure there's gonna be somewhere on here, but good barbecue. Good barbecue. I lumped it all into one.
Oh, that's so broad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so broad.
I know it's broad.
Okay.
Because I couldn't narrow it down for me to just one. So I use it as, okay, for instance, we go to a game, someone brings a little portable Coleman or whatever, a little portable little like camping grill, and throw some ribs on there, throw some steaks on there, throw some maybe chicken on there, lather them up with a barbecue sauce, keep it simple. Just some good barbecue.
Okay. Wow. You're going to hate my list then because I broke that into 3 different
That's fine.
items.
No, that's
Okay.
fine. I had ones. I'm just thinking like when I tailgate, there's okay.
Wait, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
And don't get offended.
I'm not.
Does Denver know how to tailgate?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because Kansas City knows how to tailgate.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to.
Denver knows how to tailgate. Don't
Okay.
worry. Denver knows how to tailgate.
Okay.
You gotta remember too, though. I moved out here in California when I was 18.
This is true. You've been out here for 10 years now.
So I've been to a few Denver tailgates, but I've been to a lot more UCLA or
Sure.
California
USC,
tailgates.
yeah.
Yeah. I've been a lot more out here. So, but yes, Denver knows how to tailgate. My
Okay.
list is more, I guess, geared towards the less food realm. So that's why
Okay.
I clumped barbecue.
Well,
together.
I think then our lists will complement each other.
Yeah, it'll be nice. So okay,
Yeah.
you're number 4. Go right ahead.
My number 4 is bags. Some people call it cornhole. I typically call it cornhole.
And why'd you call it bags?
Because it took less typing. That's literally the only reason I wrote bags is because it took less typing.
I don't like people that call it bags.
I don't either.
It's cornhole.
It is cornhole, but
We're on the same page.
I went 4 letters against 8.
Okay.
That was my only reasoning. Cornhole, my bad.
Thank you.
But yeah, cornhole. You got to get those. The cornhole. You get. It's probably the most iconic tailgating game out there. I suck at it, but I still love to play it. And I love the ones the boards with the team design. You know, you got to have the team design. You got to have the Chiefs logo, the Broncos logo, the college logo, whatever. You can't just have a blank wooden board. That's boring as hell.
Yeah.
And you got to have the fun bags. You got to have the logo bags. You can't just have a red bag, a black bag, whatever.
Yeah, you got to represent.
You got to go all out, man.
Got to represent.
You got to go all out.
Absolutely. My old roommate had custom designed Chiefs cornhole boards, so you would have loved those. They were very nice.
You almost said it.
I didn't almost say it. Don't.
You almost said it.
I did not almost say it.
They heard it. They heard it. I heard it. You heard it.
I was trying to say boards. And
Don't lie to me.
I was trying to say boards.
Don't lie to me.
And then,
Don't lie to them.
And then so at my wedding, my dad made us customize Broncos cornhole boards. So pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Cool stuff. They lit up too, so you could play at night. Had little LED lights around it, around the whole.
Did your dad do that
He
himself?
sure did, yeah. You know, talented guy.
Dyrud,
Mr. Dyrud.
the Godfather.
Yep, talented. So, am I up number 3?
Yes.
So this is a super simple one, but I had to throw it on there just because it needed to be said.
Mm-hmm.
You need a football at a tailgate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simple. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you're prepping for the big game. You got all the food, you got the drinks, got all the different games going on. But sometimes you want to toss a little pigskin. So you need a nice, whether it be a Wilson, Spalding, whatever, just a nice football toss around.
So simple yet genius.
Yeah, gotta have a football.
Question.
Yeah.
Do you prefer like an actual pigskin, or do you like if someone has a Nerf ball, you going all in on that?
I'm okay with Nerf ball. I would prefer an actual pigskin.
Sure.
I want to
of
get my
course.
hands on some leather before I'm actually watching.
Yeah.
Watching the old gridiron.
Of course.
Yeah, Nerf just doesn't feel right. But I'm not gonna.
It's a nice
I'm
consolation.
not gonna raise my nose to it if they have a Nerf.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So my number 3, I went beans. And the reason I went beans is because we have an old family recipe that we like to use for big family gatherings, for tailgating, for really any large amount of people in one area. We like to have those beans there. It's a Graf tradition. We have our own, like I said, secret family recipe that I'm not going to disclose here. But yeah, beans have to be there. And they're not in the oven. They're not in the crock pot. They're on the smoker. For a good 6 hours, beans are there.
Mm-hmm.
They're there. If they're not there, you're not tailgating correctly.
Good. I like it. Yeah. Good old. Are they Bush's beans or are they your own?
They're a combination of a lot of different
Okay.
things, man.
I like it. Don't disclose. I like it.
I'm not, man. Trust me.
Uh,
I would be disowned.
Yeah, definitely. So okay, number 2. I won't spend much time on it because you already said, but I had cornhole.
There you go.
It's a staple.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. No matter what tailgate, I don't care if you're NASCAR, football, baseball, anything. Cornhole needs to be there.
NASCAR?
Hell yeah. You ever been to a NASCAR event?
No.
You're missing out.
No, I'm not.
You are missing out.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you are.
No, I'm not.
Fontana, we'll go. Funtucky.
Okay.
Yeah. Auto Club Speedway. Auto Club 400. It's a good time.
I get enough traffic out in LA. I don't need to watch cars go around in a circle for 4 hours.
Don't knock it till you go.
Okay, well I'm gonna knock it. No, I'm just gonna you slather that baby up with the barbecue sauce every 10 minutes. So succulent, so juicy, and yet you have that tangy barbecue sauce with a little kick to it. You want to get enough for everybody there. You slice it up, just put it in a big platter. Get forks, get toothpicks, get your friends, get people in the next lots, get people 3 cars down. You walk up and down the aisles just giving out free samples, man. Pork tenderloin is so good for tailgating because it's so simple, yet it's just, ugh.
Yeah.
It's
It's
good.
the best. It's cheap.
Oh, it's good.
Cheap.
Oh, it's relatively affordable, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, 2-part question here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you bring a smoker when you tailgate?
If I have the means to get it there, as in vehicle, absolutely.
So have you before?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
And are you bringing your own custom kind of wood chips for the smoking?
Yes, absolutely.
And what are those wood chips?
Depends on the meat.
That depends. Yeah, that's huge.
Depends on the meat, yeah.
Okay, so pork tenderloin.
Pork tenderloin, I'm probably going to go
Okay.
applewood. But if you're going something like ribs, you might go cherry.
Okay.
It just depends on the meat. If you can bring 2 smokers, do it. But typically people can't. But hopefully you have a friend that has a smoker. You can bring 2 smokers, and
There you go.
and you're going all out, baby.
Yeah. Or you just have a lot of smokers on layaway, and you just got a big truck. You can bring them in.
So Mitch Holtis, I don't know if you know who that is. He's the radio play-by-play guy for the Chiefs.
Okay.
He tweeted or Instagrammed or something. There's a photo he took from the broadcast booth of the Chiefs game, the home opener, just yesterday. stadium completely empty, but you can just see the smoke from all the smokers from the parking lot just rising.
Yeah.
And it was probably the coolest picture of an empty Arrowhead Stadium I've ever seen in my entire life. It was cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, little teaser be coming out soon, Cooking with the Coach. So
Yes, sir.
this guy knows a lot about tailgating, a lot about cooking, a lot about barbecuing, a lot about ribs, a lot about smoking, all that good stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Cooking with the Coach.
Well, now I wanna plug you.
Well, what do you want to plug me?
Well, drinking with the Don.
Well, we can get on that.
We can get
We'll
into
plug
that later?
yeah.
Okay, we'll
We're
get into that
talking
later.
food right now, so Cooking with the Coach.
Okay.
It was fitting.
All right.
Cooking with the Coach. Am I on one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cornhole was your 2.
I almost felt bad putting this because it's so obvious, but I just had to be cold beer.
Oh, sure.
You could have the worst tailgate ever, but if you had a cooler full of cold beer, I'm happy.
It's all good, yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy. So it probably didn't need to be said, but I needed to say it.
So we've hung out a lot together.
Yeah.
We've gotten to know each other very well over our time together.
Correct.
We've never drank beer together.
You're right. We really haven't.
So do you prefer beer over liquor at a tailgate?
So if I'm chilling, doing this,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm hanging out, it depends on the environment. But I usually prefer whiskey
Sure.
as my number one drink. Tailgate, though, I love a nice beer.
Is it a convenient thing or what's the reason?
I think it's more of a sporting event. Something about a sporting event that a beer just goes well with. It complements. It's kind of like going to the movies. You get a bag of popcorn. I'm not a huge popcorn fan, but popcorn is great at the movies.
Sure. Okay, I see what you're saying.
There's certain entertainment events and certain things you do in life that there's something that complements it well.
Okay.
Beer at a sporting event, beer at a tailgate is more. I just feel weird if I'm throwing some cornhole and having like a whiskey rocks. I'd rather have a nice cold Coors Light. It just fits better.
Interesting. Okay, I can't argue with that.
Yeah. I would never say no to a whiskey at a tailgate.
Sure. Based on my experience, I've never been in a scenario, been at an event, been in a situation. Oh, shit.
Ayo.
Yep, ayo. I've never been in a situation where I don't want a whiskey.
Okay.
I'm not a big beer guy, so I'm going to go whiskey 100% of the time, but I can respect your reasoning.
Would you turn down a beer?
If I had a whiskey, yes. If I had nothing, of course I wouldn't turn it down.
Okay.
But
right.
I'm going to have my whiskey on hand.
Okay. Good to know.
So I'm going to let you speak, and I'm going to clean this
Well,
up.
you got to go your number one.
Oh, my number one.
Yeah.
Of course. My number one is ribs. Hands down ribs. You gotta have ribs on the smoker. Very easy to do along with the pork tenderloin. You can have the same flavor of wood chips, the cherry, the apple. Either one goes really good with both. If you're gonna do the ribs, do the apple because that's the best for if you're gonna do both at the same time. But yeah, do the ribs. You cannot go wrong with ribs at a tailgate.
Yeah,
Staple.
and you prefer the cherry wood.
If you're doing ribs alone, cherry. But if you're doing ribs with pork, throw on the apple.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I like it.
All right.
I like it.
I'm listening. Keep going.
Okay. Well, I'm done with my list, but we're going into our next segment, which I'm kind of excited for. So we're trying a new. We're based in LA, close to Hollywood. We wanted to try something a little different, so we're gonna break down a movie scenario. For the first couple, we're gonna use a movie that's already been done, so a plot that's already been done, and then as we go, we're gonna kind of make our own plots. We're gonna kind of do some screenwriting, if you will. But through this first one, we're gonna pick a movie, and then we're gonna take the main character of that movie and basically choose the NFL players / coaches / personnel that would play those roles. Kind of fun. So the movie that we're doing this week is Remember the Titans. Obviously a great football movie, probably one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. I know we did a list of our top 5 favorite movies, and mine may have been on there. I can't remember for sure. But yeah, so we're gonna break down that movie and the top. So we basically split the cast into Coach Boone, Coach Yost, Julius, and Bertier, and then the fifth was a write-in where each me and Talon chose a different character that we'd have play. So we take those characters, we pick a NFL person that's going to play that role, and then, yeah, I just think it's kind of a little fun teaser on Hollywood, on LA, and that's something we can kind of use as a staple going forward, a little screenwriting, if you will. So, you want me to start, or do you want to start?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay, all right. Coach Boone, I guess we'll start with him. Played by the great Denzel Washington, probably one of the greatest actors of all time.
Yeah, for sure.
Hard to argue.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, top 5 of all time. Probably one of my top 3 of all time. So for Coach Boone, though, I had Sean Payton playing him.
Okay. I'm eager to see your reasoning.
It just
or hear it.
Yeah. So when I watched that movie, he's a very stern coach, has his morals, has his reasoning, if you will, that he's going to stick to.
Mm-hmm.
He has a belief, and that's what he's going by.
Sure.
Doesn't care what anyone else says, doesn't care what society says. He has not only his coaching principle, but his life principle, and he's going through it. He's doing it. That's how I kind of see Sean Payton as a coach. He doesn't care what society thinks. There's been controversy in the past. He kind of just pushes forward. He coaches a certain way. He has those when you kind of look during the movie and they scan to like the sidelines and you see Coach Boone kind of with those beady eyes just kind of staring and being upset. You kind of see it with Sean Payton on the sideline, just kind of when you mess up, like, great, I got to go talk to Coach Payton. Love him, but this isn't going to go well. It's not something I'm not going to just get a hug and a handshake here. I'm going to get chewed out a little bit here.
True, yeah.
I don't know. Felt that being kind of a good fit.
I like that. I do. I like that reasoning. I was a bit skeptical, but you brought me across the finish line with you. I want Mike Tomlin. In the movie, Coach Yost was supposed to lead this team, and all of a sudden Coach Boone kind of comes out of nowhere, and he's the man. He's the man that the community kind of gets behind.
Yeah, more the school board.
Yeah, kind of.
Eventually, the community gets behind.
Kind of the underdog hire.
Yeah.
I can see Mike Tomlin.
Mm-hmm.
When the Steelers had that coaching opening and Mike Tomlin kind of came out of nowhere, nobody really knew who he was. Kind of an unsung guy, and all of a sudden he wins a couple Super Bowls, and all of a sudden he's a hero in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin to me is exactly who would be the perfect fit for the Coach Boone role. A guy who a lot of people overlooked, didn't really expect much from, kind of expecting him to crash and burn. But you look at the guy, and he's one of the most successful coaches in the NFL in the last decade.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the perfect fit for the Coach Boone role.
Yeah, it makes sense too because when Bill Cowher left, there were some coaching candidates that were kind of like the shoo-ins.
Sure.
And he kind of came out of nowhere and took that role.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see that. Coach Yost, let's do it. Snake it. So you go to Coach Yost.
Jason Garrett.
Okay.
And my biggest reasoning is their demeanor on the sideline. No matter what's going on the field, they have the same demeanor. They have that calm, cool, just that stoic, stalking the sideline kind of thing. I never really see an emotional range from Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
And the same thing from Yost. He never gets too amped up. He never gets too down. He's always just kind of even keel, like take it as it is. The kind of the perfect complement to Coach Boone, because Coach Boone, Coach Tomlin, very emotional. They get riled up. Coach Garrett, Coach Yost, everybody, hey, it's fine. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Even keel.
Even keel.
Yeah.
Yep. So Jason Garrett is my perfect Coach Yost.
Yeah. I chose mine for that exact same reasoning, the even keel, but I chose John Harbaugh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
I think he fits
that's a good one.
absolutely perfect. He's a player's coach. All his players love him, which everyone loves Coach Yost in the movie.
Yeah.
I think they would bleed, die for him. He's always that guy that is on the sideline, kind of opposite of how I said with Sean Payton and Coach Boone. When players mess up, you can see him on the sideline, almost more of like a loving embrace. Like, come on, let me show you what happened. Let me show you what went wrong here.
Yep.
This is a teaching ability, exactly how Coach Yost was in the movie. So that is out of this whole list, that was my favorite kind of. John Harbaugh, I think, would be a phenomenal Coach Yost.
I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Good.
I like
so,
that.
Julius. Superman.
Superman, baby. Left side.
Sorry. Bert's here with Superman. Julius always said Superman.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack.
Oh, my God. That's it. That's who I had.
Is that who you had?
Exactly who I had. Khalil Mack.
I have a backup if you need.
No, I like that. It's okay if we agree sometimes.
Yeah,
it's fine.
We can agree. Yeah, Khalil Mack. What was your reasoning?
The fact that he just kind of he plays with that chip on his shoulder. He plays with that fire, plays with that emotion, plays with that it's me against the world. Nobody thinks I can do it, but I'm going to prove them wrong. Julius in the beginning of the movie kind of has that, it's me against the world. Even my own team, it's me. I'm playing for me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Khalil Mack kind of has that edge to him, that vibe where you
outlaw, rogue,
yep.
like not selfish, but like I need to do me.
He's gonna go get his.
Hence why he got traded, because he's gonna do him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think that's me and you, baby, on the same page.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like that. Bertier, you go.
Luke Kuechly.
Okay. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Do you want me to just say mine, or
yeah, go
explain?
ahead.
I had Clay Matthews.
Okay. Either one. I mean, I think Kuechly's a little bit more of that rough and tough inside linebacker thumper kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Matthews is a little bit more of the pass rusher, kind of the. I can't think of the word right now, but I just think Kuechly is more that rough and tough, gruff role that Bertier is. You know what I mean? That middle, the pure middle linebacker.
Yeah.
You know, Matthews is a little bit flamboyant for me.
Just because he was in Pitch Perfect doesn't mean he's flamboyant.
It doesn't help.
Yeah, just because he got his sleeves ripped off in a movie.
And that his hair is longer than my girlfriend's.
Yeah, well, I had him in the running for like my next role, but I put him at Bertier.
Okay.
As linebacker. So.
Okay. I know exactly.
I like Kuechly too, though.
Let's face it. Coach Boone, Coach Yost would have made Matthews cut his hair off, and I'm sure that's the perfect segue for your number 5.
Yeah. So I had Sunshine.
Okay.
That was the character as my number 5. Wrestled a lot with who I wanted to play this role.
Okay.
Wrestled a lot. But for me, it comes down to the player that stepped into a hard situation for the starter and led his team to the Super Bowl, Nick Foles.
Ooh.
I'm not basing this on
I like
looks.
that. No, I like that.
Demeanor similar, though. I mean, Foles went to University of Arizona, so he's kind of got that, like, carefree. Like, Sunshine was, like, the surfer from, like, Hollywood or from California.
He was actually from Huntington Beach.
Yeah, from Huntington Beach. That's right. And Nick Foles, has that kind of West Coast swagger and has that kind of, like, I don't really care attitude, but, works hard, cares about his teammates, can sling the rock, can throw it on a dime. And, hey, he came in for his starting quarterback just like Sunshine did, came in and won the Super Bowl. So that's exactly what Sunshine did and run the Titans. To me, that's a perfect fit.
That's beautiful. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Makes perfect sense to me.
It does, because it does make perfect sense.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll try.
I went Petey.
PD.
The kind of the unpredictable, combustible. You never know what he's going to do. He may quit on you, but he may win you the game. So I went Antonio Brown.
Yeah. Especially in stuff that's come to light recent
weeks. Yeah, I mean, if he's on, you want him on the field 100% of the time. But the first sign of adversity and the first sign of like things not going your way, he might shut down on you, and he might turn on you just like that. To me, that's Antonio Brown. As good as he's been, as good as his talent is, man, sometimes the antics is not good for the team. So that to me is Petey.
Yeah, I think that's a good fit. Good fit. Very very well with your star player, but also could be your greatest nemesis at sometimes.
Yeah,
which is what kind of Petey did in that movie, and it was like a circulating.
Yeah,
and
but in the end, came through.
Exactly.
Won you the game.
Yeah, when you really needed it.
When you needed it.
Basically, when the team said, hey, I don't care if he did this. Like, we need him to win.
Yep.
Everyone knows the Steelers need Brown to win. So
AB, baby.
They don't care the antics he's doing. No. Like, when he's on the field, get the guy the ball.
Exactly. Yep. And I know Petey ended up playing defense, but same thing.
Yeah.
Come on. We're fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
So, I like that. That's going to be fun. We're going to keep doing that. We're going to soon here kind of write our own plots.
Yep.
Fill in. If you have any plot ideas you want us to play out, please send them our way. You know where to send them. Okay, We're going to wrap this up with our favorite or most anticipated Week 4 matchups.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't miss anything.
Yes, sir. I think we're good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you want to start? We'll just
sure.
two matchups each. Nothing crazy.
I'm fairly certain we have the same one, but I'm going to lead with the Chiefs and Broncos Monday Night Football, AFC West.
Yep.
To me, I think the Chiefs and the Broncos are probably the second best rivalry in the AFC West. To me, the Chiefs and Rangers are the best, but Chiefs Broncos, man. Chiefs offense, Broncos defense has kind of been struggling. The Broncos as a whole, let's face it, they've been struggling. I'm not very high on the Broncos, but Chiefs Broncos are always a good game. This is kind of a trap game to me for the Chiefs, because Chris Harris is a good corner. You got Bradley Roby, who's a good corner, and of course Von Miller, Bradley Chubb. Chiefs' offensive line, as underrated as they are, no offensive line is going to be able to handle Von Miller and Bradley Chubb the entire game. So we'll see how upright Mahomes can be. We'll see how much he can handle the pressure that he's. I think this is going to be the game where he gets rattled. So this might be a tight matchup, but I'm really looking forward to it because I love every time the Chiefs and Broncos play. I just love it.
Yeah, no, it's always fun, no matter how bad either team is. It's always close. I'm nervous for it because of how good that Chiefs offense is and how the deep Broncos defense has. I mean, they haven't allowed a ton of points, but they've definitely struggled.
Sure.
They haven't been as dominant as I would have hoped. I think what is the bright light for Bronco fans and just what will keep this game intact is the Chiefs, as you mentioned, hasn't played a pass rush like the Broncos have.
No.
So that's going to be the Broncos have to play that pass rush to their – obviously, I mean, that's their MO anyway, play that pass rush. But they also need their DBs to play aggressive and not play a soft zone where Patrick Mahomes can just get rid of that ball within 2 seconds. They got to play press coverage. They got to be aggressive. They're going to have to take chances and just make – I mean, as crazy as this to say, make Mahomes make deep plays, which is probably his greatest asset. But if they just play the soft zone and let him pick them apart 10, 15 yards at a time – it's going to be a long day for Broncos country. So I think it's going to be a good game still. The Chiefs definitely have the upper hand. I think last thing I'll say about the game going into it, what pays dividends for the Broncos is how poorly they played in Week 3 against Baltimore. I think it's going to be a huge wake-up call. Yeah, we're only 3 weeks in, so you shouldn't need a wake-up call yet, but they got one. Big wake-up call going into a division game, short week. Hopefully have a short memory, but, great matchup. Should be fun. Any AFC West game is always a good game.
Yeah, very true. Now, the reason I say this is a trap game is because you look at the Broncos, they're 2-1, but Week 1 barely beat the Seahawks. Week 2 barely beat the Raiders. Both those Seahawks just won, but Seahawks are 1-2, Raiders 0-3, and they just lost to a Ravens team that really probably won't make the playoffs. But they're still a winnable football team. They're a team that can win games. To me, it's a 10-win team.
Baltimore or Denver?
Denver.
Okay.
To me, Denver it could potentially be a playoff team. So I don't want the Chiefs to go in there thinking it's going to be a cakewalk because it won't be. Even though the Broncos have struggled early on, they can still beat the Chiefs. So I'm not going to say I'm scared, but I'm leery.
Yeah.
I'm a little leery. I think Reed will prepare the guys, but I don't think we're going to see the same dominance that we've seen from the Chiefs in the first half. I think it's going to kind of be a dogfight early on, and I think it's going to be the opposite of what we've seen. The Chiefs will come out firing on all cylinders each week and then kind of let teams back into it later on. I think it's going to be the opposite. I think it's going to be super close to halftime, and then third quarter, fourth quarter, Chiefs are going to kind of pull away at the end.
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting you say that because that's kind of been – they've been a team's – tale of two halves. The Broncos have really struggled in the first half and turned on in the second half. Chiefs have really dominated the first half and kind of just tapered off in the second half. So with that MO, that would show that this game should be a pretty damn good game in the last 5 minutes. But we'll see if it ends up that way. So great matchup. One that I'm looking forward to that I'll actually be at Thursday night, Vikings and Rams. And I said short week for the Chiefs. It's a Monday night game, so long week. I don't know why I said that. But a short week for the Vikings and Rams, Thursday night football. Should be a great game. To me, that's a potential NFC West championship showdown.
NFC championship showdown. You said NFC West.
NFC West, yeah, NFC championship.
I know what you meant.
I was like, wait a minute, yeah. NFC championship showdown. Vikings obviously are going to bounce back, but they run into a tough Rams team, but the Rams are missing their top two corners.
They are.
So we'll see if Diggs and Thielen can how they do on those backups, and Kirk Cousins, if he can have his way, and how that Vikings defense does against the Rams offense. But it's going to be a great game Thursday night in L.A.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that was the other one I had to, Vikings-Rams. It should be a battle of 3-0 teams. Unfortunately, the Vikings let one slip, but I still think it's going to probably be the premier game of the week. Vikings-Rams, two of the best the NFC has to offer, just like you said. Both really good offenses, both really good defenses. I think this is going to be an absolute battle It's going to be bloody. It's going to be tough. It's going to be rough. It's going to be have a very old school feel where both teams hang their hat on defense, but the offense can put up a lot of points if they need to.
Yeah.
So what's going to give? Who knows?
Yeah.
It sucks that the Rams are losing to Leave and Peters, because I think if they had him, it would have been probably one of the best games of the year. Still could be, but yeah, it's a toss-up. I think probably the Vikings take it just because they're going to be super focused this week after dropping one of the Bills, and the Rams have two of their biggest playmakers off the field.
All right, Vikings take it. You got any other key matchups you like?
No, those are the two biggest ones that jumped off the page at me.
I have one. I think it's just going to be a fun game. Sunday afternoon game, Browns-Raiders. Here's why. Baker's first actual start. So we saw what Baker did on Thursday Night Football. We've talked about how much we love Baker Mayfield. I think it's going to be great. Yeah. His first real start. The Raiders, who are 0-3, but I don't know if you saw, I don't know the exact statistic, but they have basically led all three of those games, basically all the way down to the last final minutes of the fourth quarter. I remember the exact minutes, but I'll make up 100 minutes. They've been leading games for 95 minutes of those 100 minutes, and they've lost all three of them. So still a good 0-3 team, or at least a competitive 0-3 team. And you have the Browns coming off their first win in almost 2 years. Yeah. Baker Mayfield, number 1 overall pick, getting his first actual start. I think it's going to be a fun – of those afternoon games, that's going to be a fun game. I mean, you have them. You got Saints, Giants, Seahawks, Cardinals,
Yeah.
That's the one. 49ers, Chargers, I'm watching the Browns, Raiders.
Yeah, that's
Which when would you ever say that ever?
Oh man, yeah.
I'm watching the Browns Raider games this week.
1-1-1 against 0-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. But
you got an 0-3 John Gruden led, winning through 3 quarters every single week, and then you have a Baker Mayfield first overall pick Browns team. That's a fun game, fun storyline.
That'll be a fun matchup.
Yeah.
It will be. I think the Browns.
Because you want to see, you want to see if Baker builds off that Week 1 win.
Yeah.
Which we think he can, but
yeah, there's
going to be growing pains. Everyone's already wanting to give him the Rookie of the Year trophy after playing 2.5 quarters.
Sure.
There's going to be some growing pains.
Yeah.
We're going to see it, but I think he's the real deal.
I like that one. I do too. I love Baker. I think Mahomes will take over the league on the field, but I think Baker will take over the field or take over the league as a whole.
Yeah.
That guy has such a great personality.
Yeah, he'll be the face.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get into trouble, which
I don't think he will.
I don't think he will either.
He has one mark on his record.
Yeah. I don't think he will either.
No, I think Baker takes over the league, and I think the Browns are in for a really bright future.
Yeah, I think so too. I hope so. So
yeah,
it's,
me too.
It's good for the NFL.
It is. It's great for football.
Yeah. So all right. Well, there you have it. Anything else?
No, sir.
Coach. So hey, it was fun.
It was.
Thank you all for tuning in. It's been a blast. The Coach and the Don. Make sure to check out sportsaldente.com. Check out all of our premium content. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do that. A lot of our fantasy football content is going to be going towards premium, so you need to subscribe in order to keep viewing that. So make sure to do that.
If you want to donate funds to replace the glass I broke for the Don, just DM us and we'll give you our Venmo account.
Not necessary, but thank you. Yeah, so there you have it. We'll see you. Tune in here every Monday night or Tuesday morning when the podcast will be live on iTunes. You can listen to it there on your morning commute. But fun as always.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. See you guys.